Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann, and I show people how they can live healthy, happy, sustainable lives by changing their habits and using cutting edge products to help them age well. And I'm really, really delighted because today I'm joined by Paul King Brown. And Paul King Brown has talked to me before, and today he's going to be talking to us about life habits. I mean, who doesn't need to know about that? And Paul actually works as a sales and leadership coach. And I'm going to put all his links below, but I'm going to hand it over straight to you, Paul, for you to give us your wonderful habits.
Fantastic. Julie, thank you. Good morning to you. Good morning to your audience. Thank you so much for your invitation. When asked about habits, I made a list. And, you know, when someone asks you about your habits, you tend to think, okay, what habits? And you want to make it impactful and inspiring, but also you want to make it honest, because a lot of times when we think about honest habits, the first habit I often think of, and the one I don't like, is the 11 o'clock opening of the fridge. That is the habits, which is when you first said habits, that was the first one that went directly to my brain was, oh, the stuff, maybe the stuff I shouldn't take out of the fridge at 11 o'clock. But we only have a few minutes. I won't go on about that one. That one actually I cured a few years ago. Well, my doctor cured it a few years ago. He said, if you keep doing that again, you're going to be very ill. Please stop. So in this habit thing, I've been thinking about it all weekend, actually, Julie. And I asked my wife, what was her ones? Because I thought, you know, what would she think? And her ones were quite incredible. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and start with her and her ones. And I'm going to incorporate the ones. Her ones was be disciplined. And it was really amazing, that particular one, because I had lots of different ones, but I think they all said, be disciplined. I had focus, I had this, I had that, work hard. But she was, her one was be disciplined, be kind, enjoy the moment. So I'm going to start with no order and preference or which one you should do first, but I'm going to start with enjoy the moment. I'm going to say enjoy the moment because I was 60 in September and I had all my friends around and it turned into a thank you session. I invited friends around for over the last few years that really helped me because I was in last year I caught COVID and I was in hospital and it was really, really bad. And my wife was in Germany. And while she was in Germany, I caught COVID. So I was in hospital with COVID and she was in Germany 2 weeks with COVID. And basically, she was worried about me and sent an ambulance. And anyway, people came to my aid. The reason I'm here today, the reason you said to me, I look strong, blah, 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 is that people came to my aid. And I just think it was such an amazing thing. And so I had my birthday party and all these people came together and we were just thanking each other. I was like, look, the reason you're here, there's some people not here that you think, why aren't they here? But I just wanted you to know that I'm here to thank you, that I want to tell you that you were amazing, that you did something incredible. You called an ambulance, you turned up when I couldn't walk and you brought food or you just came to pray with me or whatever it was. I just wanted to thank you. And I think one of the habits, as well as being in the discipline, is just continually trying to be grateful and be generous, and just to be kind around people. And I really want to stay around there. Just so I've always done it before. But one of my very central habits is to always look to encourage people. I came on this morning and you said, "Wow, you look good," and I was like, and I'm 188 meters or 6'2" if you're English. And as you said it, I was 6'4". I was 2 meters. I thought, oh, I look good. So it was a lift, and I've spent my time just trying to give to people. Sometimes people think that giving is only about money. I think we have beautiful currency of generosity, the beautiful currency of forgiveness, the beautiful currency of always being an encourager and always being kind to people. I was sitting in my office one day reading the book called The Power of Positive Thinking. Many, many years ago, it was in the 1990s. I'm naturally quite pessimistic. And so what I do, I consume and I read a lot of positive stuff. And I was reading The Power of Positive Thinking. And I was a director of a part of this company. And on my team was someone that I didn't like. I'm not going to name them, someone that I didn't like. I really didn't like them. And, you know, and I tried to, but it was difficult because they kept doing things that made me not like them. And Norman Vincent Peale, in reading this book, and it was coincidental, he said, why don't you write down 10 things, good things about this person, and then keep talking to them about it? Go like, you know what, you're really good at this. You're really good at that. And so I wrote down 10 things, and I've got to be honest, I only got to 5. But anyway, it didn't matter. I had 5, and I kept, every time they did something which was, I was like, I went, no, you're great at this. You're amazing. You're such a great communicator. Why don't you do more communicating? And I can't tell you that I liked them more, but what I saw was a change in them, that they actually became better at the 5 things that they wanted, that they were good at. They actually excelled in this, and I sort of saw this happening, and then I decided to hone in on one of them and 1 month and just do that one and see, did it really work? And lo and behold, whatever it was that I was saying, they suddenly were like, they were rising, they were getting better, they were saying, oh, I've done this, what do you think about this? And it was, and so so the philosophy is one habit, but the philosophy is very much, and I wanted to give you the example, Julie, because the philosophy is always be kind, always be an encourager. My wife is be kind. My thing is always be an encourager. Always be where when someone walks into the room and someone walks out, we all talk about each other. Let's be honest. What will they say about you? There's a presentation I used to have that I used to say, when people mention your name, who do they say that you are? And there's a wonderful story about Alfred Nobel, the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know whether you know the story, but the story was very simply that one day his brother died. And when he went to read the newspaper got the obituary wrong. They didn't have the obituary of his brother, they had the obituary of Alfred Nobel, because Alfred Nobel was famous for inventing dynamite. Not only was he famous for inventing dynamite, and also glycerin. So once they were using the dynamite, he would say that the dynamite wasn't there for war, but he used the dynamite, but the dynamite was bought for war. And then he went on and made dynamite transparent with glycerin. And so his name in the obituary was Alfred Nobel, the merchant of death. And so he read this and he wanted to change his name. So he divested of his interest in the company. He had lots of arguments with his family. He was famous. He was rich from this. And so now today, we do not know Alfred Nobel as the merchant of death. We know him as Alfred Nobel, the Nobel Peace Prize, because he spent all his life changing when people mention your name, who do you say that you are? And so if a lot of people don't know that his name was once the merchant of death, we know him as the giver of some beautiful and amazing gifts connected to Barack Obama, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Lech Wałęsa, and different famous people. It's important. And I think encapsulating in our habits is really the thinking that how does our habits affect other people? Often we think our habits are all about ourselves. And sometimes I have a sister and her habit is that she bites her nails. And it drives me crazy. It drives me so crazy that when I was dating, in my old dating days many years ago, I couldn't date anybody that bit their nails. It drove me absolutely crazy. If you were sitting in front of me doing this, I'd go, no, you'd be wonderful. You'd be a great person. I couldn't. Habits are really important. The other thing about the habits, and maybe I'm talking about the philosophy of habit rather than the habits themselves. The other thing that's really quite important about habits is that a lot of us want things in the future. A lot of us dream. And this is a new revelation for me about habits. A lot of us are dreaming about the future and only realizing a little bit like what my wife was saying, that we have to enjoy the moment. We have to enjoy now. That maybe the things that we want in the future, we are building now. I see it in my brain. The image in my brain is that I'm planting seeds. I'm planting seeds. Like you, my wife, we have a garden. I don't like gardening. My wife loves gardening. But then when she plants her tulips, when she goes back, she's looking for tulips. When she plants apples, or tomatoes, she's going back looking for the fruit. And so that's if we do not have love, if we do the things we do not have in our now, it's because I've discovered that I haven't planted it. I haven't been forgiving. I haven't been graceful. I haven't been kind. I then had this expectation of something that I haven't planted. And so sometimes I would say that our future or our now is a reflection of what we've planted from before. If you speak to very powerful people, you realize that they just work at a level, and you realize that it's a habit at this level, or whatever level it is, there are habits. There are ways to be successful. And then I've got a mentor, a coach, and I like having that because, one, they keep me accountable, and two, I sort of look up to them and I want to be them. But they have a totally different set of habits. And then they say to me, Paul, you have to do this. And I go, and I feel uncomfortable and I don't want to do it. But then I find that I do. Other habits, as my brain is swirling and I have a massive list of habits we haven't spoken about, is read. Read, 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 read. It's an incredible and when I say read, I've become, even though I'm 60, I've become very 21st century. So I consume a lot of YouTube. I consume I've now do Audible books. So anytime I'm in the car, there's something going on, there's information. Maybe I'm trying to say to you, not just to read, but because I think it's Daniel Priestley says that we used to live in the age of information. And maybe you think right now, you're looking behind me and you see all these books. Well, yes, obviously he reads. I'm actually a bit disappointed in myself when I look at my books, because I wish, because Daniel Priestley says it's not the age of information, it's the age of implementation. And so as you look at the books behind me, I wish that I'd implemented as much as what you see in terms of the information. Focus. What a habit is focus. Read, focus. Just choose something to be amazing at. Choose something to be wonderful at. Because once you've done that, there are so many other things to be wonderful for. Refuse to be mediocre. It's very American. Be excellent, be amazing, be number one. I'm not just saying that. I'm saying just choose one thing. Sometimes we're so gifted in many things, but choose one thing to excel at. Choose one thing where, a bit like the Alfred Nobel story, when people mention your name, who do they say that you are?
Oh my goodness, Paul. It's like a mic drop moment. I absolutely love it when you talk to me and share your gifts. And what an amazing story about Alfred Nobel. I had no idea. And I think you're absolutely right. So you're talking about planting great seeds and being grateful and being kind. And of course, that kindness is not just about kindness to other people, that's also about being kind to ourselves. So thank you so much, Paul. I'm going to put all of Paul's links below this video, so do check him out. And all there is for me to say is thank you so much for watching. I'll post my links as well below. And thank you, Paul, for talking to us.
Thank you.